Hello everybody, it's the Grumpetier, and I'm back again with the Steven Universe vlog, and tonight's episode is Adventures in Light Distortion. And oh boy, epilepsy. So in this episode, continuing off the events of last episode, Steven's going into space to find his dad. And the only way to do that is to use the Ruby spaceship from those episodes where the Rubies come to Earth, which I can't remember off the top of my head. And Peridot fixes it up for them. They go into space, and when they're doing so, it's going to take 70 years because of all that fun light travel stuff for them to get to this location where they're holding Greg's dad, which turns out to be some Slaughterhouse-5 style human zoo in the middle of space, which I can only hope is a reference to a Kurt Vonnegut novel, but I don't know. And that is apparently where Greg could be possibly held. Possibly. I would hope so. I would hope they didn't make the trip for nothing. And Pearl, back in her time in the service, found out of this zoo in a way that, I hate to say it, sort of mirrors the Russians' discovery of concentration camps, now that I think about it. The way she was talking about how the further she pushed into the army, she found these camps where they were holding people prisoner. I mean, it's a little, I don't know what to make of that. So I'm not going to make anything of it. And they're going through space, and to speed up the light travel, or to speed up the travel, they can do this thing where they can distort gravity, light, concentration, all that fun space stuff that you pretend to listen to in, space science. And they can get to the planet faster, so in doing so, all kinds of hilarity ensues. The gems, for some reason, not Steven, just the gems, I think it's they try to talk about how it's because their bodies are based in light. I don't know. It leads for some funny scenes, I guess. Funny scenes, at least to animate. Must have been a blast. Of the gems getting shorter, getting all kinds of weird, distorted body types. Necks grow longer, bodies grow gigantic. All kinds of really, really weird things. And then that all happens 4 minutes into the episode. Maybe because 11 minutes, you're maybe halfway through the episode, you're maybe 5 minutes in, and Steven just presses something, right? And he totally warps the speed. He totally goes into hyperdrive or whatever you want to call it, and he starts going super duper fast, super duper light speed. And when he does that, he's going so fast that he's going faster than light, and since the gems are made out of light, then their gems, their material form, are being stuck against a door, but they themselves are being tugged, I guess, like water skiing with the rocket ship. They're going at the same time, but since the rocket ship is moving faster than light, the light tags behind it. It's getting pulled. And really, I don't have epilepsy myself, but and I've never experienced the feeling of having a seizure. I hope I never do. But watching this sequence, which literally goes on for a good 5 minutes, no joke, where the camera and the lighting and the Steven's face gets all distorted, it really harks back to the Stargate scene in 2001. It looks like when you're in a movie theater and you take off your 3D glasses and everything on the screen is totally distorted and there's two images. It does that, and obviously intentionally, and it hurt my head a lot. It made me feel dizzy. It was really weird. I'm honestly, with all the child safety, seizure, and all those light things that came in effect after the Porygon incident with the Pokemon anime, which if you haven't heard about, read that up. It's actually a really interesting piece of child's media and television laws. Oh boy, doesn't that sound like fun. I'm surprised that they let them get away with such a epileptic, if you will, scene. I don't know if I was the only person who experienced this. I don't really go around asking people what gave them epilepsy, but it was such a distorted and crazy scene, and I think the problem that I had the most with it is how nice it was. It was a well-made thing. It wasn't just disgusting, distorted visuals for the sake of that. It was well made. It was well put together. Obviously, it wouldn't have that effect on me if it was, poorly done. And I really wish that I wasn't trying not to look at it because I was feeling sick. I'd really like to have looked at it more. It was a really interesting. I'd be really interested to know how they got away with putting that on the screen, especially with all the, certification and not certifications, all the whatever the roadblocks you have to go through. But I digress. Steven eventually stops this warp speed thing. The gems come back and explain that thing I was talking about the light speed, and they 70 years before they were supposed to, they show up at the human zoo, or what we can assume is to be the human zoo, and what we can also assume to hopefully be where Blue Diamond is. Because really, I mean, like, we've all been there. You get on a spaceship trying to find this, zoo where your dad's being held hostage, and Blue Diamond isn't there. She went to the one down the lane because it got 4 stars on Zagat instead of this one. It's classic. We've all been there, but I digress. Overall, like I said, it was a well-made episode, and I really wish that it didn't make me feel sick, because I would have liked to really have watched it more. It was nice. If you are into, it's just very trippy, I guess, is the only way to say it. It doesn't really, the only thing it does to the story is gets them to their location faster, which could have been done in 2 seconds if they really wanted to. I think this episode really was just to show off the visuals, and even if they do make me feel sick, they're still pretty good. I mean, a poorly made thing, like I said, wouldn't make me feel physically ill. And I mean that in the nicest way, I hope. But besides that, pretty good episode. It's kind of just an excuse to show off visuals, but I'm not really complaining too much, except for the fact that I nearly felt sick. I don't know, man. Did you have epilepsy? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.